Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Late Night Live number 75. I hope that everybody's having a wonderful day. Yeah, I'm having a pretty chill day. I've been enjoying my evening writing sessions, doing the dictionary.com word of the day every single day, and I guess tonight we're going to do that live. So we're going to make our way through. Last week we started with connecting A, B, A, C, or sorry, A, A, B, A, C, A, D, and so on and so forth. Tonight we're going to do B, A, B, 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 C, B, D, and so on and so forth. We're going to have some fun doing it. I'll get warmed up here quick first to get things started. Good evening, James. Thank you very much. Yeah. Very happy with the light hairlines lately. Getting that W. Last night on the Discord in the live study hall, I wrote that one. While I was live in there, and then I did it quite quick because I was in the middle of a movie. I was watching Marvel's Eternals, and I paused it to go live on the Discord and write the word of the day, which I did, and I was happy with it, and it was all fine and good. Finished watching the movie, and looked back at what I had written, and I didn't like it. There was one part where my hairline, something must have happened with my nib, and the hairline got like too fine, where it went almost invisible, which would have been great if the whole thing was like that, but it was just for like one little section, so it looked awkward. It was the flourish of the W. So I went, well, we're gonna write it again. So I dove back in after I was finished my movie, and wrote it again, made the little mistake that I posted on Discord, and then finished with the one that I posted, and I was very happy with it. What up, Oja Swinny? Hello, I'm Sneha. What up, Gary? I'm doing quite well. Thank you very much for asking. What up, OZ fam? Honestly, I gotta say, I've been really loving the hairlines lately. And this is the nib that I said I tweaked, but I just tweaked it like a little bit, like a really, really quick sort of sharpen, and it made a big difference. But I've been focusing very heavily lately on just lightening my grip as much as I possibly can. Every time I start writing, remembering, sort of added to the checklist of things before I write, remembering to loosen my grip as much as I can before my nib touchdown, so I don't get that little heavy spot right before I start writing. And I found that, I don't know if this would be the case for everybody, but the more that I focus on relaxing my grip and lightening my hairline, it's helpful. It's sort of helped everything else. Oh, I didn't see your message in the middle there, Oja Winnie, that you had to leave. Well, we'll see you later if you come back in time before we end tonight, and we'll see you later. Thanks for popping by. An Oja Swinny-less stream today. But yeah, I find when I focus on getting my hairlines as light as possible, well, come on, I need at least to have a hairline. When I get my hairlines as light as I possibly can, I think it sort of forces me to lighten. Everything sort of lightens up when my grip is lighter. There's less tension, and then just my writing seems to be better. And I don't know if that's just sort of everything coming together all at once, but lately I've been quite happy with where my hand is at. And I don't know if that's specifically because I'm focusing more on the hairline than I am even sort of the form itself. but the majority of my sort of attention, obviously I'm trying to hit the right forms, but the majority of my attention is going on trying to keep my fingers as light as I possibly can. That's interesting. Why are my indirect ovals so much darker than my direct ovals? What did I do different? Or was it just that dip? Oh no, there we go. Okay, so it was just unusually light in the beginning, I guess. Get warmed up here. I haven't done any writing yet today. So, let me get a glad sheet. How's everybody else doing? What are you guys up to this evening? Or if it's not evening where you are, what are you guys up to? I know we were talking about, oh, today we're starting with B. We're going to be doing a heck of a lot of B's today. But I mentioned last week when I did the capital T, at least I think it was last week, when I talk about the, doing my cross like so, I tend to sometimes get this little sort of triangle peak up at the top. Let me clean this nib real quick. Another thing that I want to get rid of, not going to be able to get rid of it exactly right now, but because we're working on B's, but in this figure 8, or this compound curve stroke right here that will be used for the S or the L, I tend to get that the same idea of not a kink, but a little, not a smooth transition. My hand freaks out right here, and I end up getting like a drastic shape right there that I want to try to get rid of. So maybe once I get through the B's, I'm going to dedicate some time and attention to smoothing that out a little bit. Hello, Mom. Yes, B is most definitely for Bunny. That is correct. A paracord project. That's fun. What are you wrapping? Ozzy fam. The elusive movement. That oh so elusive movement. Here one moment, gone the other. I gotta see, I might make my camera a little bit darker today, so the hairlines might be a little bit easier to see. You guys let me know if lighter is better, or if this looks too dark. You let me know. It's the one issue with getting really light hairlines lately is getting the photos and the videos of the work gets a little more challenging. A hatchet handle, that's cool. I have a frog in my throat. Give me 2 seconds, everybody. There we go. Hopefully that's better. We'll see. Voon Rent, that seems like a... It is indeed. I've never done a paracord rap before. I've watched a lot of people on YouTube videos and stuff do paracord raps, but I have no experience with this stuff myself. Alright, well, if that's warm... Capital B. So our big... Well, we gotta have a clean stem today. Oops. And then we have to be able to do... a smooth... Whoa. That's not on the same baseline. Hello, Seaton. Seaton? Keton? Let me know the proper way to pronounce that. I apologize if I said it wrong. There we go. A B by the book. Now, connecting the B to other letters would get a little complicated, because we're exiting with an indirect horizontal oval that's way down here, and we gotta get up here for our next letter, so we're gonna have to be creative. Oh, that's awesome, Mosey fam. How much paracord does it take to do a boat oar? I feel like that's gotta take a lot of cord. I mean, I guess wrapping anything in paracord seems like it would take quite a bit of cord. Ooh, messed up that oval. Let's try that one again. do a couple snazzy B variations, and then we'll go into connecting them. That's better. Okay, so you're with the entrance oval. You're talking specifically about as if it's starting like way over here, or starting sort of where the stem is, or shallow, like that. I'm guessing that's what you're referring to, having this line sort of either hit that point, extend way farther, or be shorter. Chat in. All right, chat in. Thank you very much. So yeah, this is this comes down into it's a personal. It ends up being, I think, a personal preference thing. The way most penmen wrote would, I mean, as you can see in the old books and stuff, it was all different. There were a lot of penmen who tended to have like entry oval in general. There was a lot of penmen that had like a horizontal entry. Then there were penmen that dropped it down, and it seemed like they dropped it down consistently enough that was definitely like a choice that they were making. Though most of the books talk about it being horizontal, a lot of the penmen wrote it slightly, I say the word droopy, but I don't mean that in a bad way. It just tended to, I call it drooping when anything is not on the horizontal. I feel it drooping down. And a lot of penmen wrote it drooping slightly. But when it comes to where it meets, it's, to my knowledge, there's not a specific rule. What I like, ideally, is so that the sort of trajectory of this oval here, of this overcurve, ends up hitting approximately where your connection point for the stem would be. And the reason I like it that way, well, and this is, I think, where it... let me get my thoughts in order here. Motor mouth today. Whether it's starting here, here, or here, all of these strokes are pretty much hitting the same trajectory. This one's just shorter. Like if this oval were to continue, it would hit almost that same place. With this one, it hits that top part. This one keeps going there, but the implied oval that it's creating, they're all kind of creating the same implied oval that's going sort of right above that point. So I think as you read in the books, I apologize that I'm not very well worded apparently today. I feel like I'm stumbling over my words a lot. But you'll read to always start your ovals on the move. It's a very big thing. It's highly recommended. You don't want to start exactly here, drop your nib, and then go, because it's really hard to get a nice smooth start. Now, some penmen, I believe, would do like a full, like you were doing like air ovals, and then they drop down in full movement. And I know a lot of penmen, and penmen today and penmen back then, would have done it this way, where they're doing their air ovals, or it could be just even one, and then they drop. So they do one air oval, and then they do their line. And then they do an air oval, do their line. And when you're doing that, you're dropping down on rapid movement. So I would say it's very difficult to hit the exact same place. The travel that you're going to hit, or the shape that you're going to create, is going to be the same, like these three creating this oval here. But where the nib touches, it all happens in such a small fraction of a second if you're moving quickly before it, so that where the drop happens, is gonna vary. I mean, unless like the penmen back in the day, they would write countless hours a day, so they could, I mean, they got that sort of, that habit. And then sort of the other side of that is the way I tend to do a lot of my entry ovals and whatnot, with the exception of the capital A and capital O, I don't do a full air oval before I go into a stem. I start on the move and I drop on the move, but I only move a little bit before I drop. And this is, again, I think this might be the minority. I think a lot of people and a lot of penmen back in the day as well, I think it was most common to do like an air oval and then go into it, so dropping down completely on the move. Whereas personally, I find that I have more control. I'll do air ovals and then I stop. And then if I'm here, like if this is where my nib is hovering over this point, if I'm gonna do my air oval or my entry oval right here, I'll end up dropping down about right here. So I do my air ovals. Let's make sure I got ink in there. Do my air ovals. I'm here. And I drop down. So I'm dropping down on the move, but I'm only moving like, well, you can see here, I ended up dropping down right about there. I'm only moving a little bit before I start or before I do the drop down. Now, is that something that I should be teaching, or that's the way that it should be done? Honestly, I don't know. It's what feels more comfortable for me. I have trouble controlling if I do an air oval and then around. I find myself being inconsistent in where my drop is, where my nib is actually contacting the paper. Whereas if I go here, air ovals in the air, so I get my arm ready for the shape, and then I pause, and then I do it. So it's almost like I'm starting from a static stop or static spot, but I'm not dropping down. I guess my nib is, when I'm stopped, my nib is hovering like a millimeter above the paper, and then when I start moving it in the air, and it immediately goes down to the page. So that way, I personally find that I have then more control on where it is starting. Now, I said with the exception of the capital A and the capital O, and letters that go directly into a shade, like for example the capital A, you can go straight into it like that, but I find with the capital A, and I've mentioned this on stream before, I like doing an entry oval into the capital A. I don't know if it's because of, it could be one of two things. Because this goes straight into a shade, it's nice to have a little more movement or momentum before the shade drops down. But also, for, as you know, I practiced or I worked without movement writing for quite a long time, and I got in the habit of writing, I always did my capital A with a horizontal entry oval into the A, and then around. So when I got used to writing it that way, I find that if I do a horizontal oval in the air, ran out of ink, but you get the idea. That's going when I'm going directly into a shade like that. Same as if I was doing the capital O. Say we were doing a capital O like this. When it goes straight into a shade, I find that I can give myself a little bit more of a warm-up. I guess a starting position. But that's potentially just a me thing. The key, I think, is that it's always moving, or that you're not starting on a stopping point. And that's why I think you'd see a lot of penmen sort of touch down in different places. Now, where there was a big conversation about this happened on a Facebook group the other day, a week or two ago, and the conversation with that one was sort of the same. Where does it start? But with that one, there was I'll just do it slow so I can properly recreate what it was like. We had an entry oval, then it came up into this shade. So, and this was essentially what it was modeled after, something that looks similar to this, which is one of Kanan is one of the only penmen that I've seen push it this far to the left from where the ideal crossing that I would like would be. But in Kanan's, the way he does it, this sort of implied shape cuts right through the middle of that stem, which can still work. That's still okay. It's still giving me a good shape. Whereas the one on Facebook that I was, I don't want to say correcting, but that I was bringing attention to, this entry oval had started almost coming up and around really far to the left. So when we came up to get the stem, it was already, this implied oval would have gone, and this is not exactly how it was written, this is a bit of an exaggeration, I think. But the implied oval that was being created was completely going through the shade, cutting down at a not a good angle that you'd want to cross the stem at. We always want to cross, as we know, trying to get close to 90 if we can. So in Kanan's example, we have this and it's going out a bit like that, so it's still crossing through. So it is really far to the left, and I'll be honest, if if I was alive way back then and Kanan was in my class and he did that, I would give the same correction, because to me it looks weird. But who am I to correct Kanan's writing? But to me it looks weird, so I drew attention to it in the Facebook group. But it wasn't so much, I mean, to me the weird part is how far left it was, but the part that I would consider wrong, for lack of a better word, is that its curve didn't end up crossing the stem in like an ideal, like at an ideal angle. It ended up crossing down in an unideal angle. Because there are times when you'll see this come through and cut right through the stem into the shade. Personally, I think it looks better when it's a little bit higher. But that being said, sometimes the stems were very short. So like in an instance like this stem could also, in some letters, could be written. They might have done a really short stem, and then the top part of the letters way up here, or whatever they're doing. So that this shows here where this oval is. I mean, it's not up at this top part like I demonstrated originally. It's not way down here. It's in the middle, but it's crossing, obviously not exactly 90 degrees, but it's getting a good spaced out cross through the middle. So it works. Well, that's an ugly oval, but hopefully that makes sense. It's one of those things that's, there's definitely no rule. Especially when we get in the realm of ornamental penmanship, everybody kind of did everything a little bit different. I know there were some penmen, like I said, would get the droop down to the left, but their stem would almost start and stop in the exact same spot. So they're touching, or they're coming back up to almost exactly where they touched down. Whereas other penmen would get the line that crosses over a little bit more, which personally, whoops, sorry, that was behind my camera. I like it to go a little bit more over, not too far, but a little bit over, I think looks better. When it ends up over here, like if I were to start here, in order to get an oval that's a nice size to start here, like if I go here, let's say this was the shape I was doing and I went into it, the top of this oval is stunted. I'm not getting a full curve. I'm just getting half a curve, which we don't want because that looks stunted. It doesn't look long and flowy like a ornamental penmanship or Spencerian oval should be. So if I were to start here, in order to get a long flowing oval, I'd have to go way over here to get that top part looking long and smooth. And then when I get there, I start running into sort of tug-of-warring between getting too big for the letter itself, and just too far to the left and taking up too much space for the size of the rest of the letter form. So I tend to err on the side of in a line with the stem or slightly to the right of it, and that's just my personal preference. Yeah, the big one, like you'll see, like up here, this is very, like to see it to the left is very common to see them start a little bit to the left of it, but it's the trajectory of that implied oval that then becomes important. If it's starting to the left, where's that oval leading it? Where would it be if that line was extended to the right a little bit farther? That's the important part. The implied ovals are just as important, basically, as the ovals that are there. And the cool thing is, once you start seeing the implied ovals, everything starts making a whole lot more sense. And there's no, I don't like to criticize things like that, because if you're not used to seeing the ovals, it's that whole saying, not a quote or anything, but I can't blame somebody, or I can't tell somebody they did something wrong if they don't. Yeah, I can't blame somebody for something they don't know they're doing or something they're not seeing. And there's a lot of elements sort of at play. But that's that's how I would break down what looks best in the entry oval realm. As you can see in these B's up here, I'm hovering above my stem. This one's a little bit to the right. This one here, you can see I started right there, which the trajectory would have been the exact same as the one before it, but it's just, I didn't drop down quite as soon. And this one, same idea, it's a little bit lower down, but they all follow the same idea. But on average, I like to go a little to the right, just because I like the way it looks. Another thing to note, sorry, I'm spending a lot of time on this. If we go too far to the left, we get, like if this was our stroke, regardless of what the stem is or where the stem is, that's an extreme example. You can see it's coming down here. I would consider this too far to the left. But we're creating two implied ovals here. We have this first one that is creating this oval here. And then we have this bottom one that is creating, in order for that to create an oval, that has to be a really large oval that's creating. And that, to me, that big oval is too big for the size that this letter is going to be. I wouldn't do an exit oval or anything that big in this instance. So that tells me that this long extended curve, it's like I took the right size under curve or lower curve and stretched it out, so it's just too long. Same thing when you take a compound curve and you stretch it too much, it just takes up too much space, and the ovals that create or that are making it up are huge. And when they're that big, they're no longer in harmony with the letter form itself. We want to keep everything in sort of, it's not a science, but we have our letter takes up about that much space, which means our entry and ovals are approximately that same size, entry and exit ovals. On average, slightly smaller, I would say. But yeah, so we have our letter, our entry, and our exit. Is sort of the world that we live in, unless we're on purpose. Like you can go way bigger than that and smaller than that, but those are intentional choices and with, I would say, artistic looking outcomes that are penman's choice, basically. But I try to not let people make those choices without knowing that they're choices. If that's happening habitually, it's important that somebody understands that they're making those sizes larger or smaller than average on purpose, rather than just by accident because they're not noticing it. Hello, Brolin. Take a sip of tea. I wonder if there's a brand of tea out there called Simpa. It's like, Simpa tea. Bad joke. Hello, gang and breed. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a wonderful evening. All right, well, shall we dive into our BA connection? I don't really know how I'm going to do this. The B is... I gotta get my B not going. I mean, unless it loops all the way... No, because still, if I loop all the way around, I need to somehow get into a direct oval from the ending of the B, which means I can change the ending of the B. I can do one of these B's, which are really pretty, to get myself either directly into an A, or I could go around, I guess, into an... That probably looks better if I go into a entry oval and go around, because that shape won't look a little awkward. Let's try that. This is a really fun beat. I don't remember where I saw it the first time. I believe Kanan does that one as well. But it's a fun shape. Oh, and there's also, I guess, another option. Doing that same idea. The B could go... and then immediately compound curve. I guess that's the easiest way to get into an A. Ignore the fact that I'm on two very different baselines right there. Ideally, they would be together. Hello, Manish. Welcome, welcome. Which one do you guys like better? The funky B or the compound curve connection? What are you guys feeling, chat? Which one do I like better? Compound connection looks great. Alright, maybe we'll do that one first. The other B is a little bit... I would say this would be the more common connection, I guess, because this B is not nearly as common. I'm going to do some that way just for fun, because it's a fun letter, but I do think this one keeps everything a little bit tighter, so long as I do them on the same baseline. Let's go for it. Let's dive in. All right. We do our B. Ugly A shade, but simple. Easy peasy. I'll try that one more time and see if I can't. So what happened, I'm gonna guess. Can't guarantee this, but when I came, so as we know, we're using forearm movement today, so I have limited range. I've talked before about how I wish my forearm, I want it to be stretchier. But I think what happened as I came over here, I got to a point where my arm was sort of rolling over, so I wasn't prepared for that shade. So what I'm going to have to do if I want to do this whole thing, I write the stem, and then I just went straight into the B. I'm going to have to reset my forearm just by lifting it. Reset my forearm, so then I have stretch, and I'm in the zone for these two shades rather than these two shades. Hope that made sense. We'll try to do that right now. So we'll get our stem. Now I will move my paper slightly and reset my arm so I'm ready for this B shade and the A shade. So I'm setting my arm a little bit farther to the right than I normally would if I was just writing a capital B. That gives us a little bit more of an appealing look. Or it just feels a little more comfortable. Now, one thing that I have to do for myself is I have to start making this B shade larger so that it matches my A shade a little bit more. It's going to be smaller because it's shaded on a smaller oval, but I can always make it a little bit thicker. So the contrast matches a little bit better. Or I could shrink my A shade, I suppose. All right, BB. Double B. So we can use that same idea, which is probably what we will do. So we won't have a horizontal entry oval on this B. We'll just go from... Sorry, the first one will have a horizontal entry oval. And I will do... the second one like so. And I can finish the second one like normal. BB. Yeah, doing everything into the G or S is gonna be a challenge. We might do those as trick strokes, maybe? Who is this? I don't have a chat moderator. One of these days, I'm gonna have to make somebody a chat moderator. Who are you? That's not a real chat message. Go away. Okay. So there's a simple BB. Easy enough. Not perfectly executed, but that's all right. We're not stressed about that today. We're just designing. Thank you, Sally. Sally! So, check this. I'm pausing my capitals because Sally's here. Check this out. I'll be back in 2 seconds. So I got a letter from Sally the other day. This is my letter. Let me zoom out and turn on autofocus. It came in the mail. I just got my mail from my P.O. box a couple days ago. This is quite possibly the coolest ornamental penmanship letter I've ever received. Watch. When I open it, let me get this out of the way. How cool is that? Like, I just want to do, like, this is, and also, it feels cool because I want to make these and have, like, these are cards, card writing size cards. How cool is that? Waba! Waba! And beautiful ornamental penmanship as well, giving me compliments of the season. So thank you very much for this, Sally. I don't know that what I write you back will be nearly this cool. I will try to do my best. But this is so cool. So my question for Sally, now that she's in the chat, did you think this up, or did you purchase this card, Or are you a super crafty person and cut all the paper to make this card? How did you explain to me how this happened? Super cool. Thank you very much. So cool, right? Very unexpected. It felt like, it felt chubby, it felt fat, like there was stuff in there, so I was expecting to open it and get either a really thick letter or something. I did not expect it to pop out at me like that. Super cool. You cut all the paper. Nice. Very cool. I always send photos of things like that to my non-penmanship and calligraphy friends whenever I get mail like that, to show how cool it is to be a penman or a calligrapher and get things like that in the mail. It's pretty fun. Makes checking the mail way more fun. Alright, back to it. BC. Alright, so C, pretty standard. We can do that same connection. We're not being very creative doing that connection so many times. We can go straight from that B directly into the C, like we would do an H. That compound curve directly into the shade of the C. So it should be relatively easy. Like so. I think what I could also do, one little thing when I just see that the way it is, I'm inclined, I'm gonna write it one more time, to start the the entry oval of the B way down below the baseline. I'm not on a baseline, and I didn't get a hairline there. Imagine that's there. Just because the C drops below the baseline. That way the B does as well. Maybe that helps, maybe it doesn't, I don't know. But that's a good connection. Alright. D. Now we have to get into... The D we're using is one with a horizontal entry oval. So we have to get to a point where we can do a horizontal entry oval. So this doesn't really work. We can do this same compound curve into the D. That's probably the easiest, but I want to see if I can't get an actual horizontal entry oval. I might not be able to get a good one. So this is where I think I want to utilize, just for sake of being creative human beings, we don't have to do the same thing over and over again. We can do horizontal entry. Ooh, that entry oval was a little high. And from there, we do our B. Like that. That's the idea. We gotta clean it up now. I do like this shape that we're getting in here, which is nice. Loop, 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 loop. All spaced out. I have to practice this shape because I'm not used to making that B. Getting this compound curve shade a little bit cleaner. This could also look good as a double shaded B or a double shaded D. Potentially, since the B has two shades, excuse me. Well, yeah, it's something that I've wanted to do for quite a while. I mean, I've had just in my head, I want to do through the entire alphabet. What is it? The 620 whatever combinations through, and then take it a step, like do monograms, like which other people have done, but ABC together, DEF together, blah blah blah, all connected. We've done challenges in the past connecting the entire alphabet. I've never written it. I've designed a completely connected one-line alphabet in the past. What up, Benny? And it's, yeah, a lot of the books, when they address these things, I think they tend to stick to, like, if this connection worked, they would use that connection for a lot of them. Or they would just, like, cross over, not necessarily super scripted. So it's fun to... I like doing this because it's fun to experiment with other ways of connecting things that are not as usual. And are they the best ways? Probably not necessarily, but it's fun to explore beyond what we see and what we practice all the time. Because, I mean, that's where their ideas came from making the stuff that came before them more confusing or more artistic. They got what they did. Now I'm just trying to take sort of that idea and move forward with it farther, following the principles of ornamental penmanship and seeing how far we can push it to see how cool we can make the connections. All right, we got to get better at making that B shade. That one. It's like making a very much the capital R. That's the shade I'm looking for, so I have the bowl on both sides is what I want. This is gonna be, I can guarantee already, the most common outcome for me is my right tine is gonna be straighter and my left tine is gonna bubble out. But I wanna try to get both just because it lends itself to a more appealing look in my opinion. So that is gonna be the goal when we do that B. Whoops. Pregnant stem. That's the idea. BD, ideally. I mean, we all know that D's are not my favorite letter of the alphabet. But this shade is, I think, is too long. It's getting a little bit too much weight there, but that's the idea. For it to come around, loop, ideally this would be a little bit closer. I could make this loop smaller. I'll try that one more time. I think I'm gonna stop after the horizontal entry for the D to reset rather than keep going like I've been doing. I'm gonna see how that feels. I'm gonna try to shorten our stem or our compound curve shade a little bit, if we can. That's the idea, much cleaner. Could be a little tighter together. I like this little, we got a 3-petal flower going on this time. Yeah, that works. BD, now we go to BE. E. So we can go back, I mean, the E works with both of these. We can do an E with an entry oval, or we can do an E with the compound curve going up straight into an E. I'm probably going to do the second one just because it's a little bit more streamlined, I think. Ah, thanks a lot, Benny. I was very proud of that E. I mean, proud of sort of E's in general. They've been hitting quite nice lately. We'll see if I should knock on wood. I'll try to do one right here. They're just... They're starting to make a lot more sense to my hand. There we go. That's a really nice one. On that note, doing the E, one thing that I think is contributing to having the nice E, as some of you'll know if you've been sort of following my practice lately, I was experimenting with holding my nib at a more extreme angle than on the 52-degree slant line. And I find that when I do that with the E, I mean, obviously it makes getting into that shade so much smoother, and it, to me, makes a world of a difference. The kicker, and the thing that I need to get used to, because we're so used to this, and just my eye and my brain wants to pull the shade in the angle the nib is going, which is a good thing. But when I go with the angle, or when my nib is more angled, I have to force my brain to ignore the angle of my nib and to create a regular oval. So I'm not doing, like, my instinct would be this, and I would do like a really super angled letter, that's like 40 degrees almost, something like that. Maybe even less than that. But so it's doing a regular form E that follows the 52-degree slant line with my nib more angled. Similar to how when we do business penmanship, I mean, obviously the nib is coming out at that type of an angle when we use a straight holder, but we're doing our ovals like this. So we're disregarding the angle of the nib to make our ovals and whatnot. Following that same idea, bringing my nib at a more extreme angle, but writing, keeping the movement at the 52, which goes against what my hand or head would want me to create. Sit down and I just would, if I sat down like that, I would make a super angled letter. But I gotta remind myself, nope, 52, blah, 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 write my oval on that shape, and then move forward. And it seems to be working. The results, I think, speak for themselves a little bit, because it helps. And I'm no longer nearly as scared of the capital E. All right, what were we doing? B to the E. B to the E. Okay. Whoa, those are two extremely horrible shades there. Now, unlike the D, I don't have a spot where I can sort of stop and reset my forearm, so I just have to be aware of what's going on. Also, gonna make a note that it wasn't something I had to consider doing the B into the D, but for the E, I want to make sure that this compound curve travels far enough to the right that I make enough space that I can get, so I can thread that little loop that will be on the E eventually. And then up and around and through. Do. There we go. All right, B to E. Let's do this one again. Starting with my elbow ready a little bit farther to the right than I normally would. I mean, I can reset after that stem, I guess, but... So I have space ready for the E. Something like that. Not the nicest E. What is with these... Messages don't belong in the chat. Gotta clean up that E a little bit. That's better. BE. Business educator. We could have added an extra little loop up here, would have potentially looked cool as well, but that's an easy connection to get the B and the E. BF. We can do the same idea. This can go straight into a stem like we did for the capital B to the B. Or we could be fancy and do the second B around, which is the way I think I'm going to do it, just for fun. Because it's a new B and it makes things exciting. So that again, we can easily go compound curve into a stem to get the T, but I'm going to add that extra little loop in there with the variation of the B. It's an ugly crossing of the T. T, I'm supposed to be making an F. Let's make that an F. There we go. So I think going underneath might have been a mistake. There's not quite enough space. Also, I have to fix this oval going into that F. I guess this could just be one of these. And then have that be the only thing that goes below the baseline. That could work. Coolest thing about doing connections like this, like signature design and sort of what I teach in that class, when I teach it is, if you follow the rules of flourishing and the rules of the letter forms, after that there are not a lot of design rules that have to be followed. You can just kind of get playful with it and go pretty much anywhere. Which is very fun. No, I want to do a big Oh, I did it the boring way. Whoopsies. So that was the way I talked about not doing it. That's an easy connection. Basically, B to anything with just a standard capital stem is going to be easy, which luckily that's a lot of letters. Our problematic ones are going to be, well, like the S and the G, like James mentioned. We'll take some figuring out. All right. Well, we're gonna leave that there because that's fine. Stems, we know we can do that. That connection, now we do B, BG. Challenge. The cheating way, or if we wanted to go the easy way, the easy route, which we're not gonna go the easy route, but I'll show you. If I was gonna do it and I was in a rush and I didn't want to think about it, I would do this. Ta-da! Easy. Cheating, because not cheating, it's perfectly good combination. That's what I would use in a signature design or something like that. Easy peasy. But we're gonna try to challenge ourselves a little bit and see if we can't get the more traditional form of the G for people. There. You know what would be super cool? Oh, it would be super dope if we could do the variation of the B that comes down and have that be the exit stroke of the G. Trick stroke, obviously not possible to do it that way unless you can do the G perfectly backwards, which I cannot, but that would be cool. In a signature design that wasn't being written, that's probably what I would do. Can I write it? Let's just try. We'll take a shot in the dark. We have a stem. Into our standard or into our B. Whoops. I did the wrong shade, but I'll put the other one in there too. Now if I were to do the G, they don't connect up, but that would be super cool. Oh, good night, Sally. Thanks for stopping in, and thanks again for the letter. It's super cool. Okay, but we can't do that. That's not really feasible. If we do from the B, I mean, that's another. Would that look cool? We can take away the entry oval of the G. This may or may not look good. We will find out. Like that looks cool. That's actually a pretty cool connection for the two. If we brought this a little bit higher, we get a nice sort of 3 flower petal shape in there with the B. I think I would want to add a slight accent on that shade, just to get some weight up there to fill that space. But that totally works. Entry oval not required. Alternatively, another cool idea that I don't think I'd ever be able to actually pull off would be to do the variation of the B. Like that. Imagine that this was a nice smooth oval. So we do our connective oval. I mean, this one, it's too big and round on this side, I don't think, or I think, but it is a cool idea. And I always have the idea of doing S's and G's like this, imagining that I can fit the whole letter just inside with some nice parallel ovals, which I've used in signature designs before, but relatively challenging to execute with writing. Possible, as I basically did it here, but that works. So yeah, those are probably our two most feasible options, I would say, are the easiest ones. Yeah. All right, BH. So H is our first, unless I'm forgetting something, it is our first letter that can start with a indirect oval stem, or indirect oval into a capital stem. So we can, in theory, use a standard B with a standard exit. This may or may not work. Everything I write today has a disclaimer. So that's a fun, chill, easy way. If you have letters, like you can do this for, I mean, anything that has a stem, you could do it for the capital M, capital N. Lot of options going in this way, if you can get this nice looking parallel line. You're very welcome, OZ fam. Have a good night, and good luck with the paracording. I like that. I wondered if it would work, but I couldn't really visualize it. That is about 90% of what goes on up in my head when you guys hear me go, I wonder. Let's try. If you train your arm enough, you'll get to a point where you can just be like, that might work. You get some crazy ideas, and your brain will get a little loopy, and yeah, it's hard to visualize them without actually doing them. A lot of ideas that I think would look perfect don't really work, and then a lot of ideas that I think would be boring or lame can work really well. So this can work with either variation of the H. We can make this just be a stem and go into just a straight exit stroke there if we wanted, but that's a nice connection between the B and the H. So we're going to move right along. Ooh, I. Now we get into our backwards letters. I and J I call backwards letters. So we have to get going into... So here we have a problem. We have to get going into an indirect oval, but unlike the H, we have to come from the baseline. The H has the freedom of its entry oval. Can come from pretty much anywhere, so long as it finishes in a, for that variation anyways, in a indirect oval. But the I kind of needs to come straight from the baseline to look like an I. So, how do we get the B over there? How do we get the B over there? This is another one that would look really cool with a trick stroke like this one. If you could do this variation of the B and hit the ending of an I, that would be dope. But we're not going to use those types of strokes in these examples because they're too hard. There's too much luck involved. Wait, if I do the I first? No, because then I'm still coming around here. That can compound curve into a B, potentially. That actually looks really cool. My hairline disappeared from my entry. But for a preliminary effort, that works a lot better than I imagined it would. My stem is very round by accident there, but that works. Is there any other way we can do that? There's nowhere other... I mean, I think that's the way I'm going to stick with that. Yeah, do that, OZ fam, for sure. Good morning, Mike. Welcome, welcome. I think I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to try to write it one more time. But I like that connection. I've never done that before. Yeah, I think for the B, doing the I first is definitely the way that I'm going to need to do it. Come on. I got a little crazy with the double loops on the I. That was probably too much. Hello, Lam. And the Obi-Wan Kenobi? Obi-Wan Kenobi. I like that. Yes, Aardvarks is our first, or our most recent, not most recent, there's been people since, but a new member on our Discord. Nice to have you over there, Mike. Alright, so we're gonna stick, that's our BI, we're gonna leave it at that. I got a little overexcited with the double loops, which it can work with the double loops, but it gets a little messy in this little bit with lines that are going in similar directions or angles. Let me clean my nib real quick. And we'll get into the J. Now the J has a much easier time with entry ovals and entry flourishes than the I does. A lot of entry flourishes can tend to make the I look weird, whereas for some reason, when they're on the J, they don't look as weird. I don't know why that is. Could be just up in my own head, but I feel like going into the J is not nearly as troublesome as going into the I. The Discord can be a little daunting looking. There's a lot of different, it's basically just chat rooms. I know there's a lot going on, but on the left you got your chat rooms and you just go in and chat. But there is I know it's daunting. It looks intimidating at the beginning. Okay, what are we doing? B to J. We have our B. Oh, it's a very simple idea that I don't think I've done before that could work nicely. Oh, maybe not. There's a possibility there. My angles are a little bit all over the place. This can be lower. That actually works. That's a super simple connection. I like it. Wait. Oh no, I can't do the eye like that because the shade would be in the way, right? Like, oh, I could just do the eye like that. But no, because I would have my shade right here, which would be no bueno. But the J, the shade's out of the way. So it totally works. Booyah, BJ, done. Easy peasy. All right, K. This one's pretty simple because we just go into our standard stem. So we'll use that same connection we used before to get into a standard stem. BK, like so. The letters look really spaced out, but with this, you can't really get this stem any closer, so there's really no other options. And then the K, I mean, ideally this could potentially come around and loop. Oh, I maybe use that for the M and the N, but not for the K. All right, there's BK, Burger King. Burger King. Why did that pop in my head? I don't remember the last time I ate Burger King. The last time I ate Burger King was probably in 2004. I would be willing to bet. Yeah. Or 2003 even, maybe. Oh, nice, Mike. That's good. The best advice, I don't know if it's the best advice, but the one thing I would recommend when you're getting started with the oblique holder is just hold it like you would hold any straight pen. Try to not let the angle of the nib get too much into your mind. I know a lot of people will hold a pen normal and right, and then I put an oblique holder in their hand. And something about just the weird contraption of the end. People get all like shoulders tense and their grip changes a lot. I just try to relax and write how you normally would write with it. And it'll, feels just like a pen once you get used to it. Once you get used to seeing where your point is on it. Hello, Peter. What do you have? Or are you asking Mike what oblique holder he has? Peter Coffee Lover in the house. A wannabe penman's name is James. Or Jay. I tend to go back and forth between the two. I hope that's okay. Let's go, what do we got? BL. Oh, L should be pretty simple. Yeah. We have an easy connection for the L. We can do the same one we used for the K, but just continue. Oh, what did I have at Burger King? I have no idea. Probably a Whopper? That's Burger King, right? I never had a Burger King close to where I grew up, so I never ate it a lot growing up. But there was one down the street from me when I moved to Vancouver. Way back in the day. But then I stopped eating fast food. So there's a simple beat. My theory, my thought process was to go through here on the B, and then as I was going, I realized that is going to make this too long and it would look weird. So following the same idea we followed for the G, I don't like how much extra space is up there, but I do feel like it's an easy way to get into the L. It is a simple L. Yeah, I don't like, unlike the G, because the G has the round exit that comes through here, it kind of fills a little bit of that space. The L doesn't. So I'm not a huge fan of how that space is out. Let's see if we can remedy that. Hello, Hody. I like that better. We also get a little triple petal flower in there. I like that better than this one. It's both good ideas, but I think this one works a little bit nicer. Hody, I haven't seen your word of the days for a little while. Have you given up on me? Did you quit? Or are you just waiting to do them all at once? Oh, Marilyn's here too. I didn't even see Marilyn's hello. Hello, Marilyn. Welcome, welcome. Nice. I mean, no pressure. You don't have to catch up if you don't want to. Oh, what's today's word? They might have posted today's word already. Let's check it out. Today's word, refresh. Ooh, oh, the definition is so long today. Today's word is mystique, M-Y-S-T-I-Q-U-E, a framework of doctrines, ideas, beliefs, or the like, constructed around a person or object, endowing the person or object with enhanced value or profound meaning. Why is that definition so long? Why couldn't they just said a framework of ideas that endow a person or object with enhanced value or profound meaning? Boom. Concise, easy peasy, easy for Mike to write. Oh, that's so long. Okay, but the word is mystique. All right. Capital M. Nice. All right. What do we got? We got BL done. Now we go to BM. I'm not going to do the word of the day quite yet. I'm going to continue on with our B's. BM. Okay. We need to get into, similar to the H, we have to get into a indirect oval. We could do what we did with the K, but I don't like having, I mean, I can do an M with a sharp shoulder there, but I'd rather have a rounded entry. So let's try what we did with the H first and see how that looks. So, I mean, because of the length that a stem takes, like when we did the H, we didn't have to travel that shade very far to the left, so it didn't need to be super spaced out here. But to fit an M like a regular stem shade, I mean, I brought this a little bit too far, but still it would have to be like there. I don't know that I like that shape. It's a lot of negative space in there. I mean, I could remedy that by doing an extra flourish, but I don't want to get too loopy. Is there something else I can do? Oh, what we did for the J. Right. Forgot about that. I even said out loud, we could do that for the M. Where am I getting the word of the day? Dictionary.com. Every day, Dictionary.com posts a new word of the day. They have for years. Actually, I'll pause my B's for a sec to show. Earlier today, I saved a word of the day from, I used to write them as practice when I got into penmanship. This was back in 2015, I think. Let me see, where's my Facebook folder? There it is. Wait, it should be here. It's not here. Why is it not here? I saved it. Where is it? There it is. There's the beginning, the early days of my flourishing. I don't know if it's easy to see. Probably not that easy to see, but the word was fiddlestick. Was the word of the day for January 25th. Or maybe January 25th, 2015, I think. Back when I did this. And then the definition was anything a bit, which is a very strange definition for a word, but not the best flourishing, but you can see this was the beginning of my flourishy journey. Wow, that cross for the F needs some work. But anyways, fiddlestick was a fun word. But yeah, everydaydictionary.com picks a new word of the day. My phone has woken me up with a notification. I mean, it doesn't wake me up, but when I wake up and look at my phone, there's a notification from dictionary.com. I have the app, and for years it shows me the word of the day, and I decided to start writing them again. So I like it because I don't have to worry about thinking up a quote or something like that. It's just sort of no nonsense. They tell me what to write, and I write it every day. All right, B. Yeah, like we did for the J, we could totally... Oh, that totally works. I've never thought of doing this before. I've had to connect B's and M's before, and for some reason this never popped in... I mean, if it works, it should work. Something like that. I would rather if this was a little farther to the left and that line was going through. Still a lot of negative space here. I like that more though. Can I do that better? I could still also add another No, I don't think I want to add a loop there. I don't think I would like the way that looks. Get too messy in here. I think I might have to leave it at that. See if I can get that reversed oval stem shade looking a little nicer. I gotta bring the ending of my B farther to the left in order to make that look nicer, I think. BMW. Yeah. That's better. Ta-da! Either variation of the M works. I like using that the least common one. There we go. BM. That works. All the dots on the blotter? Do you mean like these little dots? My little white dots? Alright, here we go. BN. Same thing as the BM. We're gonna be lame and boring and do the exact same thing because we can. BN. Oh, this. I mean, yeah, I guess I call it a glide sheet. Yeah, they you can see all of these. There's pretty much every corner, and over there they all have. And you can see also literally like every top right corner in every orientation has has dots on it. This is obviously the one that I use the most. It's such a I probably do little ticks way more than I have to, but it's one of those things that if I don't, I feel like I always run the risk of the nib just not starting or something, or having it reminds me if I've been talking and haven't dipped my nib in a little while. Yeah, Mike, the plan is, I guess you weren't here last week. No, you weren't here. Were you here last week? You were. Maybe you weren't here when I explained it. The goal is, so last week I did AA, AB, AC, AD all the way through. Today, BA, BB, BC, BD. And then from there, CA, CE, CD, CD. Or CA, CB, CD. Whoa, that's hard to say. CA, CB, CC, CD all the way through. So at the end, I will have done, was it 262, I think was the total number, if my memory is remembering. No, not even close. 600. 262, no, of course not. I knew it was 600. 676 total combinations. Thank you very much, Mom. You have a beautiful rest as well. We'll talk to you later. Yeah, so the goal is to get through every single combination. So, and then right now I'm kind of planning them, and I'll keep these. These are not going to be the sheets that I'll keep forever, but I'll keep these sort of planning sheets. And then my goal is to have a sheet of paper that's A, connected to everything, and you turn the page, B, connected to everything, C, connected to everything. So you have the entire alphabet connected in twos. All right, B to the O. How can we do B to the O? So the O, I mean, we can do the same way we did going into this G. We can go straight from here but I don't know if I'll like that angled line going through the O. Doesn't bother me on this variation of the G, but or we could do this variation of the B and come around into the O, which I think will look more pleasing. I think I'm gonna go with that one first. I look like I know how to dance electro swing. Unfortunately, I do not know how to dance electro swing. I like electro swing music. I use electro swing in my tap classes. I have taken swing and jive lessons in the past, but I don't really remember how to do them properly. So no, I unfortunately cannot swing dance. Hello, Fozzie. Welcome, welcome. You forgot it was Wednesday. That's okay, I never know what day of the week it is. Connecting to everything, and this is very true. I have made, I've never written it because I don't think a pen exists on the planet that could do it. At least not a dip pen. I have written a fully connected alphabet before, way back in the day. I remember there was a challenge, somebody did a challenge, it was like of no lift majuscules, and I did them in chunks of like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I did them in groups, and then those groups could be easily combined together, but I made like no lift variations of the K and stuff like that, so the entire alphabet could be written beginning to end, but I've never actually written it fast. I designed it. That was some time ago. Oh, so long, Peter. Thanks for coming and hanging out. It's nice to see you. You missed quite a lot. A little bit. Just B through N. And some discussions of the capital stem. I made those way too close together. I still, something about this connected, words, this connection being a big angled oval I don't like. As you guys will know, I like my connective ovals and flourished ovals to be on the horizontal axis. So I think I'm gonna try that again, but do this with a horizontal entry oval. Actually, let me also try the one that has the compound curve going through it. I will try all of the ways, because I don't think, in theory, I liked that one, but I don't think I liked the way that looks. That totally works. That's super easy. This compound curve does not bother me at all going through there. I like that. Okay, let's try the other idea. We're good with that one, but let's see if we can do another one that looks cool as well. 'Cause why not? That could also be really cool. Those two both have possibilities. I don't know if both of these should be shaded. Probably only one of them. I guess I've been doing this with a shade, but it doesn't even need to have a shade there. You could totally come out of that B. I mean, write a standard B and just... Oh, I never thought about that either. All the variations that use that shade, or that use that variation, could just be... Oh, that's good, and it looks like a B. I don't know why I did a stem there, but fascinating. I could shade the second oval. As well. The O is a nice versatile letter. Who are these people that are coming in here commenting gibberish? Go away. All right. They're not people, obviously. They're bots, but let's do... Yeah, we'll do the second oval shade. Whoops. Lost where I was going. Oh, focus. Sorry, I forgot my focus was not locked. There we go. Yeah, there you go, Fozzie. Sorry. I caught it right then. I had it on... Why did I have it on... What was I showing? Oh, my phone, right. When I was showing fiddlesticks. Yeah, I got to... there are words that are auto-moderated and auto-blocked. But those... This is new. The bots that are coming in commenting random... It's like 3 letters dot 3 other letters. It's not one word. It's always different. But I'll see if I can get some settings so that they get auto-modded. That could work as well. With the double shade, my shades weren't very smooth on that one, but either or, shading first or shading second totally works. All right, BP. BP, Boston Pizza. We can do this one rather standard, I think. Like so. BP. I guess we haven't played with... I mean, there's also the possibility we could totally change things up. And do connections like that. I never use those ones nearly as often, as demonstrated by how not super nice they are. We could also use those variations, which I haven't really messed with, but they end the same idea. The P could also use this ending going into the horizontal entry, but all right. PQ. Oh, what variation of the Q do we want to use? The cop-out is using the easy way. Is using the Q that looks like a G. Like so. BQ. But most people would read that as BG. If we go into the 2, oh, we can use that the same way we got into the J. This connection that I'm excited that I've never used before, but it's a fun one. I guess we could also do, wait, how do we get into the L? No, that won't work. This has to be all shaded there. Let me try that again, remembering what letter I'm doing. But that would work so long as I bring this up enough to create that shape. Try that again. Oh, the O with the tiny curly Q would look pretty good as well. You're right. Which would be simple. That's just that with a shikao in it. This one would be a little, I think there's a little bit too much going on. I mean, you still could add it into a Q, but then it's quite busy. If I was gonna do the O variation of the Q, I would use this one, I think, and then add the little compound curve in there. But I'm gonna try to do this 2Q one more time. This part right here, I've always just called it a grip. Or bulb, one of those two words, but I've always just called it a grip. It probably does have a proper name. A belly? I don't know that I've ever called it a belly. I've definitely called it a bulb before just because of the shape of it. I mean, it could technically, I guess, be called barrel as well. The lumpy bit. What? I forgot what shape I was creating there. That's a pretty chill BQ. I think that works. All right, BR. R, we can do the same thing we did with the BB and the BP. Keep it nice and easy. Like so. Little BR action. You saw a guy holding his pen above the lumpy bit. That's funny. Up here? That's weird. I would have no control. Yeah, I feel like I would have no control if I held the pen back there. What is the hardest capital for connections to others? I'll confirm this when we get there, but I feel like T and F are problematic because they're crossbars. You got to connect with the cross, or you have to do the other letter first. You have to do them in reverse. Yeah, they're the most imbalanced looking letter when they're on their own, I think. So I think T and F will probably be the most difficult one. The BQ looks like it needs a baby oval. Oh, you mean in here? It could have one, but what would end up happening? Is that what I'm assuming you're meaning in here? And I thought about doing that same with the M, and it just makes things too busy in here. It could potentially use one. But I feel like I don't want to get too lumpiness going on up here. Or if I go up and down and around, and then it's going to be too short. This could come higher. I feel like adding a little oval gets too... Yeah, I thought about... Because I wanted to do that for the M to get rid of some of that negative space. And it only worked with the M. I could only really get it to, in my brain work, is if this came way around here so that it was entering in super big, then I could fit an oval in there and have space. But when it's all tight in here, it's going to end up looking like boom, boom, boom. It's going to be really bumpy looking up on the top here and really busy in here, I think. Oh, BS. Okay, so this is similar to the G. we're gonna go for it the same way we did the connection we did for the G that worked, which is just the compound curve taking out the horizontal oval entry of the S. What's going on? I think I stopped and talked a whole bunch. I'm skipping. Yeah, I guess I don't have to be writing the B with the little baby oval. That's just habit for me. It would probably look cleaner and smoother with a single oval for the B. I'm just getting in some practice on the double looped top of the B. W, I feel like will be similar. Not the same, but the same idea as with the B and the S and all those ones that end in a horizontal indirect oval. We have to find a way to get them back over to the right. So, yeah, those ones might be a little complicated. But such is the point of this exercise, I guess, to get through some of these, think through some of these snazzy connections. What are we doing? Right, BS. Oh, wait a minute. This is different than the G, because the G goes to the right. This needs space to go. Oh, can that go through there? Okay, so S is more challenging than the G. I didn't take into account the space that this shade is going to need. So this has to come in, go low into the compound curve, into this upper loop. That can work. Ooh, that's more challenging than the G. That's okay. We like a good challenge. And there might be some other ideas that we can play with too. But this should be a relatively simple one. Something like that. Not the best execution. I don't... Similar to the G, it has some negative space up here. I can't make this ending oval quite as big as I want if I want to hit that point right there. So I can't fill some of that space. I mean, we could also do... Hello, Jesse. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, going from the P into other things will be a challenge. Yep, for sure. Unless we loop out of it. Yeah, we're gonna have to get creative. Yeah, we're gonna try this. The second variation of the BG that we did. Yeah. We'll try this one. This would have been a little bit lower in a perfect world. So that those all... I never managed to hit... My S exit ovals are pretty much always nice parallel horizontal... Or nice horizontal ovals. Except when I try to do this connection and get fancy with the S, they always end up getting all garbled. Because I get nervous about fitting it right where it needs to go. I mean, this one makes the most sense. An easier way, same idea, but... Oh, wait. No, that won't work. There's also variations of the S that finish like that could potentially be useful. Or there's always the possibility that we could go, shot in the dark. We'll see what happens. There's also that kind of idea, which I used to do these, well, I'll use these from time to time, long swooping compound curves. Noticing that, as we talked in the very beginning of the stream about the stretched out oval and stretched out compound curve, this is a long compound curve, but the ovals that make up each side are around the size of the letter form. So it's not too big that it looks stretched out and doesn't fit the letters. But, I mean, it does create a big horizontal line going through your piece. But it can work. This is what we use similar. I guess this is what we used for the capital I with the B. So those are our, I guess, 3 decent options for the BS. Ideally, this would have gone through, cut through there, there, and there, but that's okay. Okay. BT. Going into the T, relatively easy when the T's at the end, because it's just a standard stem. So we can do the same thing we did for the F. What did we do for the F? Yeah, we just did a standard. Get a new sheet. BT. Pretty easy, I think. Should be anyways. We can do either of the 2 variations of the B that we've used sort of so far. Like so. We can do a T that way. Or if we want to get a horizontal entry oval in there, we could do a variation like so. Either of those would work. Pretty simple. BU. Oh, we gotta get back in, so we can use the same. Here, we'll have some fun with the BU. The same way we did our BH. Should work for the U, for the compound curve stem shade. Like so. Easy peasy, nice parallel lines. If we don't like the big, huge oval that goes to the left, we could always do what we did for the J. Shrink that down. Whoops, ugly stem, but that's okay. Like that. That could be a little bit more, that would ideally be a little more round on the top, like so, shaped nicely. So the idea is easy. Execution takes some work, but it's not super complicated. There's another one. Go away. You don't belong, commenter or non-real chat person. Okay, let's do another one. Another variation, just because we can. There's so many chill ways of getting into the U. Something like that can be kind of fun. So instead of cutting all the way through here, which would give us a large oval that will be really hard to get out of in time for the stem, we can bring this smaller. This, admittedly, this is a little big. It should have cut through here. And then in there, up and down. Gets a little tight up there, but it works. How many years? A lot. I guess when I started studying, like, slowly, I feel like this date always changes because I don't remember exactly when I started. I got into fountain pens around 2010, 2011. I think I started getting serious about ornamental penmanship and whatnot probably around 2000, probably like 13, still slow. And then around probably 15, maybe 2015 was when I started doing movement writing, maybe. Don't quote me on those years. I don't know. They all blend together. It doesn't feel like it's been nearly as long as it's actually been. I will say that. But it's been quite a while now. Should I be better? Maybe. But I have never done the whole daily practice thing that all the books and myself say is a great way to learn and a great way to practice. I've never really done it. I write when I want to write, and I'm just fortunate that I usually want to write quite often. Lately, I've been doing daily practice, though, because of dictionary.com's word of the day. Let's go V. Same thing. Same thing. Same three options. I'm not going to do all three of them. I'll do the one that I like best. Oh, a nib snap. Weird. It's the first one of those today. There's a V. Could end it. Normally it wouldn't end in a large oval like that, but that's just how I've been enjoying ending my V's lately. Yeah, today's word is mystique. But it has a really, really long definition. So I'm not really looking forward to writing the definition. Oh, that's good to write the quote of the day. It's really nice having just words or quotes or something just suggested to you every day so you don't have to think about finding something. I've really been enjoying not filming writing them. I mean, I could easily press record on my camera when I'm streaming them, but something about not having them filmed is nice. I don't have to worry about camera angles when I'm writing and all that kind of stuff, or if I'm exactly in the middle of frame and blah, blah, blah. One less thing to worry about, so I can actually just focus on the writing. But that doesn't stop me from turning my camera on and going in the Discord study room so I can chat with people while I write it, or so people can watch if they're curious and want to see how they're written. All right, W. W. We should get into the W the same way we got into the M and the N. Yeah. We could do the easy one, because you can get away with doing a sharp shoulder W. We could do something like so. Like that, but I'm going to try to not do a sharp shoulder W. We're going to try to get a nice indirect oval W, which would look something more like this in theory. W. That's not a very clean W. Still, same with the M and the Q. I'm not a huge fan of the negative space I have going on in there, but, and this is kind of wonky. And that touches, so it should be in the middle, or cutting through there. But, if I can make this larger, that should be smoother, and I have to get this, if this was rounder like that, then I would like it more. So the idea I like. The execution that I've been doing today, doing that one, not as much. But yeah, like going into this W or the U, same idea. But going into a stem requires a little bit more horizontal space, but I still think it works. I'm gonna try that one more time. And then we'll get into our X. Close enough. I didn't hit the same baseline, but that's okay. The issue with, in theory, yeah, we could go all the way around like we did with the U, but what happens is because of the horizontal space that the stem shade needs, we did that with, let me show you. We did that with the M, and what you can see is when we got here, we come around, all the way around to there, there's a lot of space that has to be there so that our stem can fit. And that gets cut out if we come around here. So in theory, we can go all the way around, but I don't really like the shapes that it creates. I tried that earlier. Another one that we could do that I feel like would look pretty good is the last variation, how we got into the U. Can work for the W and could look really good, I think. I messed that up, but that idea works, similar to the way we did the U. I think that's probably my favorite. I mean, if I could do it with some better execution, I would like it more, but I do like it. Let's try one more time. Something like that. This would have to go wider. I'd have to get used to making that shape so that it doesn't get in the way of the W. So it goes over here somewhere. But that's one other idea. I think this one, if executed nicely, is probably the best idea, but both work. All right, X. X, X, X. I mean, X is basically the same thing. Something like so. Obviously, getting this connecting a little bit nicer would be better. That's an easy connection for the X. Or we could do, if we don't do an actual stem on the X, could look a little bit like an H if we're not careful, but we could do what we did to the H. Something like that. I went below the baseline, but that idea, same thing though, we get this space here, which it works with the H, so it can work with the X as well, if I executed it nicely. But I don't usually loop the bottom left of my X, I'd prefer it to be a stem. So I'm gonna keep it a stem. I don't know why I kept going. That was supposed to be a stem. Anyways, there's some options for the X. The X can work. I gotta fix the shape of this oval every time. It's been off. If I did it right, that would look good. I mean, it would be a stem, and it could look good. I just miss it every time. My favorite capital? Probably the B. It's not the easiest capital to do, but I probably write it more than any other capital, I would say. I think B is my favorite capital, F is probably my favorite lowercase, I would assume. It's my initial thought. Another one. There's never this many. Why are there so many today? Ooh, oh, that's fun. I have issues getting the angle on my O, so O is not my favorite. I like the O, but yeah, B's always been, I've always had a soft spot for the B, even though it's a rather challenging letter. All right, Y. So we're gonna do the same, loop all the way around the B for our Y. Like so. All the variations that work for the U and the V work for the Y. Pretty easy. And Z. Z will do the same as the Q. The Maryland M, 3 humps. That works. All right, for the Q, we're gonna do it the same way we did it on that X. If I could just hit this down. Oh, actually for the Q, or for the Z, sorry. This might work really good for the Z as well. Let me see. If we bring it all the way around. Totally. We get a little bit of, we gotta be careful in there. But because this comes around here, it doesn't require a lot of extra space like a stem would require. So that works. Cool. What else can we do? I mean, we can do the one where it cuts through the middle, also works. But I think that looks really good. We just have to be careful crossing through there so those have space. We could do it like so, and then we don't, now our Z is encapsulated inside the oval of the B. I mean, this needs to be sorted out where that line's going through, so it has either its own space or cuts right through that one, but either of those two forms totally work. And after all that's done, that's the whole alphabet. B, A through BZ. Done! Oh, right on. Now, word of the day. Now we will write mystique. Oh, I've been so into the words, I forgot about my T. Bummer. Let's take a slight tea break for a moment. Drank a lot of water today. I'm gonna be right back. Be right back. I am back. Ooh, a cookie. I'm jealous. Hello, JJ Spencer. Unless I'm greatly mistaken, JJ, that's yours. It's been sitting here waiting patiently for my navy blue leather to show up. Waiting for its time to shine. Which, the navy blue leather is arriving. What, today is Tuesday? It's supposed to get here on Wednesday. UPS says it will be delivered, so the time has come. JJ placed an order a long time ago for a navy blue blotter. And when I had listed navy blue blotters on my store, because I have navy blue leather cut, so I had stock. But then when I checked the leather, it was my last one, I pulled it out. It had a little dimple that visually I couldn't see it, but when I felt it, it was a little dimple. Not a huge deal, but I wanted to give JJ a really nice piece of leather, so that leather is cast off for seconds quality and for other things. And then the supplier of the leather, or my leather supplier, was out, so I had to wait, and then they had supply chain issues and blah blah blah, but now they finally have some, and it is coming. So the time for navy blue has arrived. What cut they are? Upholstery leather. I don't remember the weights off the top of my head. I get full hides, and then I cut them down. All right, Mystique. We'll do a simple M. What M do we want to use? The same as the W we used yesterday with the 2 loops? Maybe? Mystique. All right. Or I could do, I'm gonna keep them very simple variations. I've been keeping the word of the days very low on the flourishing side of things. I could do it standard, like so, or probably not that one. Standard or double looped. I like the idea of double loop. I just have to make sure I can smooth out that lower loop. Yeah, I think that's the one I'm gonna do, since we did that one yesterday for the W. Get our super light hand turned on for these. That's what we want. Just like that. Now, let's get this. I'm gonna write this definition real quick, just so I get used to it, because it's super long. I'm gonna write it quite quickly, just to get an idea of spacing. Framework of doctrines. Not worried too much about nice writing right now. Just trying to get this on paper so I can have it spaced out relatively nice. Doctrines, ideas, beliefs. Or the like. Or the like, constructed around constructed around. This is a very long definition. Oh, I can't fit person on that line. Constructed around. Sorry, I'm not in frame. Hello, Ashok. Welcome, welcome. Constructed around a person or object. Endowing the person or... Why do you really got to repeat the person or object? Dictionary.com. Is that really necessary? Couldn't you write just endowing them? Endowing the person or object. Gosh. With Enhanced value. Or profound meaning. Gosh. Done. Okay. There's the full signature. Oofty. Done really quickly. We'll pay a little more attention when we do it the next time, but now we know what it looks like or what it feels like. Not too many ascenders, so that's good. What are you up to tonight, Ashok? Or today? Okay, nothing left to do it. Nothing left to it but to do it. Put that to the side. Switch to stretch some ivory paper. Yes, Fozzie. Oh, did you go to the pen hangout today, Marilyn? I was not able to make it today. Well, did I mess up? Constructed. What did I write? Oh, I spelt it wrong. That's not how you spell constructed. I'm such an idiot. There we go. Thank you, Fozzie. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do all the pen hangouts just because it's an awful lot of hours in front of screens for me if I do the Zoom hangouts and then stream right after it. It's a little much. I had a headache earlier today, but luckily it's gone now, so that's good. Hody, nope. If you're in the study room on Discord, no camera required. You don't even have to turn your microphone on. It's just like Zoom. You can have your microphone turned off and your camera turned off. Most people that hang out in there leave their cameras turned off. So far, anyways. No swear words on stream, Fozzie. I have Michael Ward's stream filter is turned on. That was a rare occurrence that you were a part of. Yeah, I mean, I'm in front of my screens quite a lot as well, but it's just a lot of performing. I don't need to be live and have my cameras on quite that much. My late night lives are long enough. Yeah, Hody, and yeah, you can just pop in there. You can watch. I mean, I always have my camera on when I'm in there, but it's a voice channel as well, so I plan on using that if somebody asks a question on the Discord, and it's easier for me to just verbally explain it. I can just say, jump in the live study room real quick, and I can explain it verbally with, I won't turn my camera on or anything, I just need my microphone, so I can really quickly audibly respond to something to make it make a little more sense if it's something like that I can make sense with words. There should be, Marilyn. I don't disagree with that. Ooh, that was really big. But it worked. No! My hairline disappeared. Crap! The shape was really good too. Why did that happen? It looks like a really fat N. My hairline completely disappeared. It worked on the upstroke. Then it disappeared on the downstroke. I mean, that's passable, but nope. Because there's been no retouching on them so far on any of the word of the days. That's annoying. Why did my nib do that? Silly nib. Making my job harder than it has to be. Move my guide sheet a little bit so that's on so that's on a baseline. Cheating. Use 2 paper clips. Lurker James in the house. That was so weird that my nib just cut out on a really nice exit oval, nice everything on that M. But my nib said, nope, boycott. Oh, that's fun, Ashok. Hooray for offline classes. I want to do offline classes again. I miss having real world students that I can see their work. So, I definitely hit a point in my life where I got excited about ordering. I ordered a red pen. Which, if you've ever taken one of my classes and I've walked around, I usually keep a really fine red ballpoint pen that I use for redlining and corrections and stuff. But I ordered a new red pen for classes, and I actually got excited doing it, which is silly. Good night, Gary. Thanks for hanging out. Sleep well. And we'll catch you soon. Okay, nib. Let's behave now here. Mystique. Mystique. My hairline got darker as I went, for some reason. But, okay. That works. Now we just got to get to the lowercase letters. Cleaning my nib a lot. I guess I did a lot of shading today. Let me double check the alignment. Oh yeah, left tine is a little low. Which is an easy fix. There's a hair in there. If you don't own a loop, I highly recommend owning one. Just because, I mean, you don't have, just no nib sharpening required, but just double checking the alignment of the tip of your nib. It's so easy for them to get just like a fraction of a millimeter off, and all it takes to fix it is just a boop, and then they're pretty much back good. It's really easy to fix, and it can make a world of a difference to your writing. So I would recommend getting one if you don't have one already. That'll work, or should work. And like today, I had no major nib snaps or anything, just a lot of shading, a lot of writing. I mean, if your nib isn't perfectly flat, if you're writing on an angle, you can always just sort of push one of those tines off the other direction, which is not ideal. Yep, same nib that I've been using all week now. And same, yeah, the same problem nib I was using the other day, Fozzie. A framework of doctrines. Right? How long is it? It's about that long. Long definition. My hairline doesn't feel as fine as it could be, but that's okay. I'm going to use a little bit of hinge movement in some of my ascenders today. So my page is going to be turned a little bit extra on some of the ascenders just because I'm playing it safe. This hairline is really not good though. All of a sudden. Is it my ink or did my nib get... Did my fix go the opposite direction? No, weird. It should be good. Strange. DOCTRINES. That'll work. Almost center. Close enough. Ideas, beliefs, ideas. Drawing my lowercase letters very slow today. Sorry. Here we go. Nicest ascender on the page so far. But I'm cheating using more hinge movement than I normally would, but my hand's not feeling super great for lowercase letters today. My hand is in because of all the B's. I feel like my arm wants to go big. Okay, constructed with an O. Constructed around A, which is slightly shorter. Constructed around a person or object endowing. Oh, that's nice. Marilyn, they will enjoy getting those. I'm excited. It's almost NaCoWriMo. I have a lot of letters to write, and I'm holding off responding to people who wrote me at Christmas time. I'm holding off till NaCoWriMo, so I'll do them all during February. There's going to be a lot of writing in February. March, April, and May are going to be quite busy for me this year. I don't know how many late night lives are going to be able to happen during those months. So February will be a big writing month for me. Around a person or object. Woohoo! Oh no! Okay, we can fix this. We can turn this E into a J. And turn this C into an E. Goodness, that was dumb. Just pretend I didn't do that. But I guess I wouldn't be me if I didn't mess up everything. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Endowing. Endowing the person or object yeah, so did I. I'm with you, Fozzie. Almost did it again. Ooh, messed up my spacing a little bit, but that's all right. All right, Mike, we'll see you later. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next time, or on the Discord. With enhanced value. See you later, Ashok. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, come on. That D completely disappeared. Enhanced value. Or profound meaning. Let me clean my nib real quick. I feel you, Hody. I feel you. It's a long one. Cheating. Meaning. Last word. Done. It's potentially the most lower cases I've ever done. No, it's not. Zoom out a little bit. There's our mystique. Is it perfect? No. Do we care? Heh, no. Yeah, the mystery is the enhanced values. That's the mystique, the mystery. I think there's also probably multiple definitions of it. This is just the first main one that dictionary.com chose. My main issue with the definition is that it made me write person or object twice. That seemed unnecessary. Lowercase letters for the win. I don't know how I feel about that, James. Lurker James, in here with 2 comments so far today. Clean my nib, nice and good. There we go. Lowercase. Oh, I guess I wasn't supposed to do this on a new sheet of paper. I was supposed to do it on the bottom of yesterday's work, but that's okay. I'm not gonna redo it. This one was way too long. We'll put that to the side. I will take photos of that after the stream to post tomorrow. And we can go back to writing. These going through the alphabet streams feel very productive. What? Do you seriously feel that way, James? I thought you loved capital letters. And you don't like drills and stuff. I thought you liked capitals better than lowercase. I feel like everything I knew about Lurker James is a lie. Woo! Nice L right off the bat. Lowercase versus capitals. Bum bum bum. The epic battle. Lowercase versus capitals. In my mind, capitals win all day. I never knew that. I never knew you liked lowercase that much, James. I thought you were a capitals guy. That's a valid point, Fozzie. That is a very valid point. That's a nice V. Proud of that. I'm gonna zoom in on that a little bit. Zoom in. Yeah. I feel betrayed. Everything I thought I knew about Lurker James is a lie. Because I know he hates drills, so I just assumed he hated lowercase. But, alas, I was wrong. Whoa! Haven't had that in a while. That's hilarious. Alright, midnight has come, which means... gotta change it up! I got called out. I don't remember who it was, but somebody called me out on I think it was either the Discord, or was it in here last week? I don't know, I think it was on the Discord. Somebody called me out for doing lame midnights after the late night live, so I had to bring back the alarm. Oh, it's so dark I can't see anything. Where's my... there it is. I don't remember who it was. It might have been... I don't know if it actually was, but something in my brain is telling me that it was George. I don't know if it was actually George, or if that's just... I remember... I feel like it was... No, it wasn't George, because he wasn't in the Discord chat. Let's go. Yeah, I don't remember who it was. But it was somebody... yeah, it was somebody... audio, I think in the live study room on the Discord, was calling me out. Wow, this song is intense. Yeah, I get it's somebody who wasn't at a lot of the old lives, and they were going back through the old lives. Maybe it was James, actually. Not Lurker James, but maybe it was Wannabe Penman James? I honestly can't remember. Anyways, it was somebody going through the old ones, and then giving me a hard time that the old ones were cooler than the new ones. Alright, let's see what the writing looks like. We'll maybe get some drunk mermaid going on today. Whoa, that's a very fat K. No, my regular paper doesn't, but I'm using gray paper today. Definitely wasn't Leon. Speaking of Leon, if you're here, Lurker Leon, what's up? If you're not here, that's alright as well. But how's it going? If you're here. Let's do this. So many things I have to do when it turns into midnight that have to happen manually. Now, can I? Whoops, sorry. There's the drunk mermaid. That's drunk mermaid color, right? I think. My face is not. I'm super blue. Super blue! Bright teeth. She looks pretty. Yeah, Hori. I mean, I think I spent 10 minutes or longer on it. It's a tough one today. Or a long one. This song seems way too peaceful for after midnight. What is going on with my... I don't like my cam being this bright. It's too bright. And as usual, I froze my camera. Why does that happen? Every time it hits midnight, and I try to do that same thing, the camera can't handle it. We just want it to be about like that, so it fits the mood. I wish I played with the Blue Man Group. That'd be dope. I would like to take a moment, because it's a rare occurrence. That D? Mwah. The D's don't always turn out that nice, so I have to appreciate them when they come. I think we can get a little bit more. Right there, between pink and blue. Sure. That gets the chef's kiss, for sure. Now I don't know what else to write. Too much pressure. Whoa, how about we do a better job of that? I don't know what to write. I did like 2 big check marks off of the to-do list today, getting the BA through BZ, and then the word of the day. So now I don't know what to write. I feel accomplished already. We could write a quote. It's not a bad idea. What do you hang on the walls of your mind? Ooh, I like that. I'm not going to answer that question. I'm just going to write that because I like it. It's a good question, too. What hangs on the wall of my mind? A lot of crazy stuff, I would imagine. What's your favorite food, James? If you had to pick one thing. Oxtail stew. Prosciutto pizza. Is that your favorite food ever, Fozzie? That's your one go-to? Peanut stew. Pizza, that's true. You can do a million things with pizza. What hangs on the walls of your mind? Sexy. Oh, nobody's mentioned sexy pizza box in a long time. No, just Winnie today. She said she might pop in later if we were still going after midnight, but who knows? It has peanut butter in it? I don't know the English translation. What is my favorite food? If I had to pick one food. The The first thing that pops in my mind, I don't think is my actual choice, but really, really good Japanese curry is very high on my favorite food list. Well, good night, Marilyn. Thanks for hanging out. We will see you next time. Sleep well. Meat stew, vegetables, and peanut-based sauce. Sounds yummy. What? That never happens. That was very disappointing. Two different R's for some reason, not sure why. Hey, Sadvik. Right now I'm just writing food that Fozzie and James are writing in the chat, but I was writing, we went through the entire connecting B to every other letter in the alphabet. So we went B-A, B-B, B-C, B-D, and so on and so forth. And then when I finished that, I did the word of the day, which was mystique, and its really long definition. And now, it's after midnight, and I'm just winding down, writing random kinds of food. Why does that keep happening? Is there something wrong with this nib? Unacceptable. I think I need to get a new bottle of Blue Ghost. I feel like it's not as good as it used to be. Food. Yeah, it was a good, there were some cool connections. I had fun connecting the B today. I mean, B is one of my favorite letters, so connecting it is always a good time. Yeah, there's something about Japanese curry that I'm very much a fan of. Katsukare. Okay. That's 3 big shades in a row now. My nib has done that. Which is very annoying. I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong. But I don't understand. Let me try to clean it. I don't know why it's doing that. Do-do-do-do. When is your event, James? You were saying earlier today about your live event. When is it? Fun. I realize now that if people watch the YouTube back without the chat replay on, a lot of what I say makes no sense. Oh yeah, my nib is fully acting unprepped. Why? Let me get a new piece of paper towel. Boom, 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 boom. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. What's tomorrow? Wednesday? Ooh, I have tap classes tomorrow. Woohoo! This Saturday. Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, you best get to practicing. All right, Nib. Please work good. Did that fix it? Well, I think it's a little better. Maybe. Better. I like the energy difference between the music right now versus my normal stream. It's quite intense. Saturday. Yeah, that wise adds a little bit of jazz to some, a little bit of pizzazz. All right, Fozzie. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, your mom is there. We'll say hi to your mom for us. It's her birthday. Oh, that's fun. Happy birthday, Fozzie's mom. Oh, you're very welcome. Thanks for hanging out. I think I'm gonna finish this page and maybe call it a night as well. Maybe I'll do another page. Undecided. Because my nib is obviously not enjoying writing today because it keeps doing that. Oh, cake. Yum. Hashtag jealous. I want cake. I have no snacks in my house. Part of me wants to make popcorn, but I guess it's too late for making popcorn right now. I don't understand why my nib is acting so annoying. Cleaning it is not working. But it's acting like it's unprepped. So I'm worried that it's my ink and not my nib. Because the nib's been working good all day today. I just don't know. Ooh, that was a very big exit oval. Cake. Two of those little Y's. 'Cause why not? Too much angle. Bah! That was a really good E, minus the nib being a punk. Ew, ugly stem. Some of them are pretty long, Fuzzy. Not Fuzzy, sorry, Hody. Ladies and gentlemen, I do believe that is the end. My nib is being a bit of a brat, and it's too dark for me to see to figure out what's wrong with it. But that was a very extremely fun and I think really good writing session today. I got through all the B's, and we did the word of the day, mystique, and its crazy long definition. And we did some blacklight writing. Not a ton of blacklight writing, but I have a feeling we only got we only got 2 people in here chatting at the moment, so I'm gonna call her quits. Thank you very much for hanging out, everybody. For days that I am not streaming on YouTube, around 11:30 Pacific Standard Time, I think is the time zone I'm in at the moment, Vancouver time. Around between 10:30 and 11:30 at night, I will be in the live study room on the Discord pretty much every day, writing the next day's word of the day. So if you want to come hang out with me there, you can. You don't need to turn your microphone or camera on if you don't want to. You can just hang out. If you want to turn your microphone on, you can chat with me. You can also chat just like we do in YouTube. You can use one of the, like in the lobby or something like that. We can have a conversation, a text conversation while I'm in the live study room. That is completely acceptable. Or you turn your microphone on and hang out with me audibly. This has been fun. I hope everybody has a wonderful remainder of your day. Don't forget, everybody, that life should be... Wait, I did that backwards. No. Take 2. Thanks, everybody. Make sure that you are falling in love with the process. And don't forget that life should be just a bit of silliness, really. Good night, everybody. See you on the next one.